It's the moment we've all been waiting for. Today has been a new trailer for Mario Golf Super Rush and some other information that's sort of scattered about. I don't have a whole lot of time. Last time I was able to make like a properly scripted video and, break the trailer down properly. I don't really have time to do that at the moment, and I don't really have the motivation to do it, so rather than doing that this time, I'm going to just sort of go through it and talk about it as I go. So this is very unscripted. I'm probably going to miss a load of things. But anyway, let's take a look at the new trailer and the new information from Mario Golf Super Rush. So it starts off just with this shot, which was in the previous one. Then we've got a look at the desert course, and this looks really cool already. Especially with like the multiple characters. Seems like they're really trying to emphasize that you should play this with other people, or at least that when you're playing in single player, there'll be often other characters on the course as well. But in terms of the aesthetics, this just looks fantastic.
A great game of golf with easy to learn control.
Oh, let's go back slightly.
Going head to head in a great game of golf with
This is new. I don't think we saw any of this course last time. And again, like, this one looks really good. It almost looks like Breath of the Wild, but for golf. Golf of the Wild. But from what I've seen from the rest of the trailer, like, all the different parts of the course are on all the different levels on the rocks, which is a really nice idea. And it looks like this will be really fun to play. There's also these like updrafts, which it'll be interesting to see if they affect the ball, but I think the players can use those updrafts to move between levels on the rock. Before I go any further with this, just refreshing the capture because I realized it wasn't capturing my cursor. I was talking about this thing over here. This is like an updraft.
easy to learn controls. Anyone.
And then I guess this is the forest course that we saw last time. Because it was kind of dark with the bluish terrain. Again, this looks really good. There's some waterfalls and rocks. Kind of reminds me of like Cheap Falls from Toadstool Tour, but a lot edgier. It's like dark and stormy instead.
One can get a
It's just another shot of the desert course. Like, you don't really see anything in this shot here.
nice shot.
I guess this is the first course, like the grassland one. And they're just talking about the mechanics a bit more. We have the narrator in this game as well, as usual.
And the terrain.
This shot is really nice. It looks like on this course, the hole that you're playing, because all of the fairways are like all stuck together, the hole that you're playing will just be highlighted on the mini-map, and then you can sort of see from there which way you're supposed to go. It looks like it could be really confusing, but at the same time it might be quite nice. And we've got the club list, which looks a lot bigger than I remember. I haven't had time to go back and look at everything that I said last time, but I'm pretty sure last time they only had like a few clubs, and now this is showing like the full list that you got in all of the other games. So I'm guessing that list will expand or contract depending on what you're doing. like in different game modes, or maybe you unlock a larger club bag or something as you go through the story. I think we didn't see last time there's this extra text here now saying downhill. So certainly there are more things in this trailer on the interface that we didn't see last time, and I will try and speak about those as they come up.
Think it through, and then...
So here we've got something that comes up saying standard spin. Hold on, if I can like step back in the videos slightly. There's another thing down here saying shape shot, which is really good, because last time I couldn't really tell from the video whether you'd be able to add like your own spin or curve your shots, like to modify the trajectory, because it wasn't very clear. But from watching this one, it seems like you can have a lot more control over your shots than what it previously looked like, which is obviously very good because Mario Golf is all about control.
Then swing.
And there's also this option that came up for fast forwarding, so that'll be interesting to see, especially in like if people do single player speedruns. If there's a fast forward function, we'll probably just be using that constantly. So it'd be nice to see if it's like if it just speeds up the ball for the entire like flight of the ball, or if it's like in previous games where it's only when it's rolling on the floor, or if it just skips like the entire animation. Any one of those would be nice. So it'll be interesting to find out what exactly the fast forward does.
Thanks to simple...
I want to check what the text said there. Okay, so before the shot's taken, it's got these options: shot type, standard shot, and there's also this club info that's come up at the bottom, which I don't remember seeing last time. So it'd be good to see what that actually does. Whether there's like, I guess there would be stats for each individual club, so that when you've selected your clubs, you can check the info while you're actually playing, like check what their stats are. Maybe different clubs have different like spin and things like that. But I'm definitely curious about the shot types and exactly how much control you'll have over your shots.
Simple button controls, you can easily line up impressive shots.
I think I just spoke about the other things that just came up on the screen.
Excellent.
This text, if I'm being honest, it looks pretty terrible. Like, that's one thing that's kind of disappointing. The graphics are all like designed to be very flat. They don't have much character to them like in the older games, which is a bit disappointing. Because it just looks literally like, you know, when you're editing a video and you just use the inbuilt text editor, default text, add a stroke to it or whatever. It just looks like there's absolutely no effort that's gone into designing this interface, or at least some parts of it. But it's fine. Like, it's not really a big deal. It's just fancy graphics. That doesn't give or take anything to the gameplay, so.
Curve shots, bend the ball.
So this part is actually really interesting to me. This is a curve shot. I'm guessing that's what these arrows meant on the power meter. Is like, hold on, go back a few frames. Where it comes up with shape shot, I guess you'll do a joystick input and that will control these arrows. So if you're like holding to the right, it will bring up those arrows which would curve your ball to the right. Although in the older games it would have been the other way around, because from what I've seen, like, this might not have quite realistic physics. But still, that's like yet to be seen how it works in the actual game. But yeah, what I was going to say, it's really interesting because the ball seems to, well, I think Mario's like aiming in a straight line and the ball just curves straight to the right from the straight line, which is like, that's how the physics worked in Mario Golf 64. And I don't think it's worked like that in any game since then. Because in Mario Golf 64, the spin was like additive. It didn't work independently of how your character would normally shoot like it did in later games. What I mean by that is that the ball would just curve off of the natural line that it was already aimed at. But in later games, if you added a draw or a fade, it would change the entire trajectory of the shot. I don't think we've seen yet, or I haven't seen any characters that don't normally shoot straight in this game. So yeah, that's another thing that has like a question mark over it, I guess. Like, are there characters that shoot with a natural draw or fade? And if there is, like, how does it respond to these curved shots? That'll be really interesting, because depending on if it works like Mario Golf 64 or if it works like the later games, that has huge implications for how you would play the game. Other things to note on this course, there's these little boulders that are rolling around, which I guess they will interact with your ball somehow. So that's also a really cool thing. Like having dynamic scenery, which we've not really, well, at least in the console games, there wasn't much dynamic scenery. There was maybe in World Tour, I don't quite remember because I didn't play it enough.
So you can avoid obstacles. Spin shots add a little.
So it came up just then as well, super backspin. So it's good to know again that these things are also in the game, like super backspin. I guess there'll be a super top spin as well, because again, that's something that wasn't shown in the original trailer.
After it lands. And there are plenty more techniques in your proverbial golf bag. The shot gauge.
So this looks kind of weird to me. I guess it makes sense, but the grid in previous games has usually been where you're aiming to, not around the player. But if you think about it with your brain, it is easier to see like the shape of the ground immediately around you compared to like where your shot's actually going to land. So maybe it makes sense. And it seems they've put a lot more emphasis in this game on like the spin that your ball inherits just from being not on a flat surface. So again, it's useful in context. It just, comparing to the older games, it's like Wow, they've changed things.
And the scan function lets you examine.
So this is the scan again. We've seen this previously. I don't think there's really anything new here apart from this. Let me just step backwards slightly. So here we had shot type and half shot, which is like different text than what was displayed previously. I guess this is like the equivalent of like approach shots. You would use a half shot and it would reduce your power so that you have more precision when you're trying to shoot a shorter distance. I mean, that's not confirmed, that's just my assumption. But it seems like that would make sense. I still don't quite understand how this, like, I assume this is the impact. And I don't quite understand how it works. Not yet. I don't know if this is fully automatic or if there is some way to control the impact. I'll see if I can pick up on anything else later in this video.
Instead of button controls, you can opt for motion controls.
Motion controls again. I don't think there's anything new in this display. They don't have like more of the interface shown.
Mario and his pals are geared up.
So 16 characters. I'm assuming this is like the base roster of characters and you might be able to unlock some more. I don't know. Again, that's something we'll just have to find out. But like, it's a pretty good character list, I guess. You've got like most of the typical Mario characters. Although there's no Birdo. And there's no Toadette, which I probably would have expected those two to be in the game. So maybe there are unlockable characters. But out of the rest of them that are shown, like, is a good selection. 16 characters is more than was in Mario Golf 64, so...
From power to control, each out.
And this is the character select menu, which looks nice. You have options. I don't know what's on the options screen. Again, you can choose your club set, which I think we showed that in the original trailer. And you can set the dominant hand, which has been a feature in like all of the games. Can choose to play left-handed if you want. But yeah, this shows all of the stats. It's quite a clean looking menu. Maybe this is like a random option, or that's your like me selection or something. Don't quite know yet. But it will list the special shot for the character, which I think my assumption when I watched the first trailer was that each character would have their own special shot, which does seem to be true.
Courageous golfer has their own surprising strengths.
They seem to be like I guess specialized animations, but not specialized effects. So 2 of the characters it showed had the same effect on their shot.
Up to 4 players can hit the greens.
So it looks like on this menu it will show what the special shots are at the bottom. Their power as well. It doesn't really seem to say anything about a draw or fade, so I don't know if like all of the characters have straight shots or what. There's also this R/SR for stats down there. So I guess when you're playing with other people, it doesn't show everything on the one menu. You have to press a button to look at the stats for your character. And let's just take a moment to appreciate Wario and Waluigi. Because they look very good in this game.
By connecting online, you can compete with friends and faraway golfers. There are a variety of courses.
I'm not sure if they go into more detail with online, because I think something we'll see later is that you can obviously upgrade the characters. So I'm wondering when you're playing online how it's balanced. Yeah, something we'll find out maybe.
From lush natural scenery.
So I think that previous one. Let's go back.
There are a variety of courses.
I think this is not the course that we were shown in the first trailer. I think this is probably like the very first earliest introduction course, where it's all one course. Like there's just one big fairway with patches of bunker, rough, and some trees. So we did see this earlier in the video. But there's like very few hazards on this course, I think.
From lush natural
and then I think this would be the course that was shown in the original trailer, which it's very similar aesthetically, but this has some water and stuff. But I'm guessing that first course is like the super easy difficulty one. And then this would be like your real introduction to the game.
Scenery.
I think we see a bit more here than we did in the previous part of the video where this course was shown. Is this like a tree? But that's like a very large tree, or wide tree, so you're not something you would want to land underneath if it's possible to do so. But we've got these clouds that blow wind, so I guess when you're shooting for like this green, you'd want to avoid those. Again, there's the boulders that were rolling around.
Fantastical.
And some updrafts. I think we saw these in the first trailer. I don't know if I mentioned them in my video, but there was the pokies and whatever these things are. They look like Blarg from Super Mario World, but that was like a lava creature, so the sand version of that, I guess. And like the Moai head thing. But yeah, seeing the desert course from these angles, it looks so much more interesting than the shots from the first trailer. I'm actually quite looking forward to playing the desert course in this game. Deserts in video games are usually quite boring to me, but this looks pretty good.
Areas you could only
what else have we got? Yeah, this looks like the forest one again, with these creeper piranha plants, which should be interesting. Curious if you can land on like their little paths and if that affects anything. But aesthetically this one looks really good.
Super Mario.
And then we've got this. I was really excited when I saw this course because, I don't know, looking through the first trailer and with the gameplay it showed, it seemed like they might be stepping away from these wacky courses because of the way speed golf needs to work. But I'm really glad that this looks really interesting. We've got lava, we've got the Podoboos, Big Bowser statue, always good. I'm curious to know what these ground types are, whether this is just like a red fairway or what, whether it plays slightly differently than the actual grass.
Some courses are just what you'd expect. Others include strategic.
So it looked like even on the like the regular generic golf course, there are things on the course. Like I guess these are sheep. So we'll see how that affects, or if that affects anything. Again, I'm expecting there'll be more elements in this game that interact with your ball on the course. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing yet, but we will see.
Include strategic challenges. Expect the unexpected. Speaking of...
Okay, because they're like Wario hit the pokey. It wasn't like a solid object, I guess. Like there were some elements you could interact with in Toadstool Tour, like the Womps and the Thwomps, or the Piranha Plants, but they were very, like, they had a very set effect on your ball when you did anything with them. But it looks like here you collect coins. So I don't know what coins do yet. That'll be interesting to find out. Was there anything noticeable on screen? I don't think so. But I suppose when you're playing with other players, you probably want to avoid hitting things because you don't want to clear them out.
Now it's always your turn. Each golfer tees off at once and races to their ball. Hit it again and again and try to stay ahead of the competition.
So we see slightly more of the gameplay in this trailer compared to the previous one. But I think so far what I've seen is mostly like as expected.
Throughout the match, you'll collect items to restore stamina and overcome the...
Do not avoid running into things, which seems obvious. I guess you lose coins when you hit something. Okay, so when Mario runs into this piranha plant, he loses some coins and this meter goes down.
And overcome the obstacle.
So if that's controlled by coins, then I guess we figured out what the coins do. Which is something, again, I wasn't really sure about from watching the first trailer. But if that's like your coin meter, then when you collect enough coins, you'll get your special ability, I think. Don't quote me on that.
Goal standing between you and victory.
This looks really good. Like big thwomp. Oh wait, is that a womp or a thwomp? I don't know which is which. It's a womp, isn't it? Thwomp is the one that pounds on you. But yeah, that's good, and this course looks pretty interesting.
Every character has a different special dash, which can be used to rocket forward while the acceleration lasts. Or you could always use it to
Okay, so you get a special dash and you get a special shot, I think, and I think those are both character dependent.
steamroll opponents. And let's not forget these golfers' signature moves, special shots. Some knock back other balls on impact. Others clear out any balls in their path. Each golfer has something special to offer. Use that to your advantage and make your rivals eat dust. Hitting the ball.
Again, this course, the Bowser course, I guess, looks really good. I think this is like a fire bar. I'm quite excited to try playing this one. But the other things that we just saw, mostly stuff that was deductible from the, or deducible, I guess, whichever word, from the original trailer. Like your special shots influence other players' balls and other players themselves, maybe.
Is just the beginning.
Which I'm sure will be very, very fun when you're playing online with people.
And in this obstacle-filled arena, an intense new golfing competition.
So this is a new thing that wasn't shown before.
It's speed golf with special rules set on a single course. Here, golfers battle to claim any of the 9 holes they can before their opponents.
I don't know how this is going to work, but this again looks really good.
Level up your golfing
I'm sure that's going to be incredibly fun when you're playing with other people.
Kingdom locals in Golf Adventure.
So I was really interested when I saw this part as well, because it looks like you can just skim across the water. You could do that in Mario Golf 64. Although not for very far. You could mostly only do it with the putter, I think. But I don't think we saw that in other Mario Golf games. So that would be really interesting if there's actually a proper mechanic for skimming your ball across the water. Be great to see how you can use that in different scenarios. Whether there are any shortcuts that you can, like, figure out using skimmed shots.
Coaches for beginners to learn from as you work on technique.
This is like the shot practice we've seen in
You're a golfer
most of the games.
Multiple missions actually, and the challenges may surprise you.
This looks really good.
Boss battles in golf. Legendary. You'll even level up by gaining experience, and then
So the boss battles again looks really, really good addition to the game. I think there'll be a lot more emphasis on the single player mode as well, on having new content that hasn't been in previous games, which is, it's always good to see, because you know, if the games are just exactly the same but with updated graphics and like new courses, it's easier to lose interest than if there's actual new, like, what am I trying to say? Like proper new mechanics and gameplay elements, which it looks like there definitely is going to be quite a lot of.
and allocating points to different stats, allowing you to develop your
We saw how
golfer
this worked in the
however you'd
previous
like. You can
trailer.
use your level
Again. So this is the same menu that we saw earlier, but this time there's another me there, and there's also this me icon in the bottom. So I'm still curious about what this question mark means. I don't know if that means unlockable character, or if you have to select that before it gives you your me, or if your me is just added when you've started playing the game, like in single player mode or wherever. But again, there's still so much that we'll find out when the game is actually released and we get to play it ourselves.
up me in versus play. The Mario Golf series has leveled up. Ready, set, swing. Mario Golf Super Rush. Available June 25th, only on Nintendo Switch. Pre-orders are available now on Nintendo eShop.
Okay, well that was the video. There was quite a lot to get through, I think. Wow. Apparently I've been going for 35 minutes, so yes, I guess there was quite a lot to get through. But yeah, I'm quite excited for this game at this point. All of the courses that we've seen look really good. We don't know if those are all of the courses yet, but I'll be mentioning that in a moment. Nice new characters, new mechanics. I'm just curious about what's going to be the most enjoyable part of the game, because it looks like there will be quite a lot of single player to do, but at the same time there's going to be online, speed golf, and the battle mode. I honestly don't know how I would go about balancing the gameplay. Like, it feels like if I start playing single player, I'll just be playing that for days until I've got as close to 100%ing it as I can. If I start playing multiplayer, then that's all I'll play. Because it just looks so fun. Right, there was something else that I wanted to look at as well, which is this. This is the Japanese website for the game, which has been updated today, along with the trailer being released. The English version of the website hasn't been updated, at least at time of recording this video. So yeah, I don't really read Japanese, so I don't know what this says. But it does have some videos and some more information that's interesting to know. This is just again looking at the scan function, which works pretty much as you would expect. You can see how far away the ground that you're looking at is, the elevation, and the gradients on the ground, which is good to know. What's this one showing? Just looks like aiming your shot again. Switching between clubs, very much like the older games. I think I never mentioned the simulation line in my previous video, but rather than having the full shot simulation line like they had in Toadstool Tour, they've gone back to just the partial simulation like was in Mario Golf 64. Which is again it's quite interesting because it means you have to employ more deduction when you're lining up your shots compared to already being able to see what it's going to do. Which it can be good or bad, it depends how you see it. But I always thought it's a good thing because it makes you really have to learn how your shot's going to react to like the wind, the lie of the ball, and everything else. I don't think there's really anything shown here that we don't already know. It has some shots of the courses, so we can click on these. This was the first one. Don't change. The first one where it's all the same fairway, and it looks like as well for this one there might only be one tee box for each hole, which on the later courses there was more than one tee box. So my assumption is that's just like the introduction course. I'm not sure if this is actually the order that the courses will come in, because this has got like this grassland one followed by the desert, and then another grassland. Whereas I would have expected this would be the first one, this would be the second course, and then there would be like this one following that second one, because the desert one looks more difficult. So I don't think these are actually in order. Then there's this one, Gulf of the Wild, I'm going to call it, because it just looks like Breath of the Wild to me. Which, Link as an unlockable character, maybe? Nintendo, please? This Bowser course. Bowser Badlands, which isn't going to be Bowser Badlands, but it may as well be. This looks really great. I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Looks difficult, but fun. And then there was the forest course as well. So it looks like, are these like thunder clouds? Is there a name for those in the Mario universe? But also what I'm noticing in some of these shots, there's like these little hexagonal things. Or those might be lily pads on this course. But there definitely were some in like the Bowser course. I'm curious if like your ball goes through those, and that's how you'll be getting around the course. Like when you're in speed golf and you're running around, that's how you'll be going over hazards which normally like you couldn't play across there with the golf ball. Which is good, because that would address one of the issues that I had thought might be a thing from the first trailer, which was that the course design might be simplified to allow the characters to move around. But if they've got elements that like allow the characters to go across areas that the ball doesn't go across, or where the ball doesn't land, that's definitely a good thing. These are just more shots from the trailer showing the different mechanics. There are several different pages to look at here. This is just the speed golf clips. I don't think there's anything here that we didn't see. But I guess the club list was smaller. Maybe the club list is smaller in speed golf specifically. I don't know. Again, something we will find out later. Probably said that like 100 times. But it's impossible to know everything. So it's just pointing out the heart gauge. But I think we know for sure what that does by now. And then there's this special shot. I'm kind of curious how this works, because in this video it looks really slow to use. At least the first one with Mario did. But this shows like for several of the characters. Like just this part specifically looked quite slow. But we'll see. Then there's the battle mode, which looks like it'll be really fun. It cuts just before they walk onto the boost pad, so I'm not sure right now if the boost makes your character run faster, like gives them an auto dash or something, or if the boost pad applies to the golf balls. So this is not on the English website yet. Like the English website doesn't have much information at all, but this actually breaks down what categories the characters come into, and I thought this was quite interesting when I saw it. So you've got like speed characters, which has these four. Clicking them actually do anything? I haven't seen this yet. This is just the same shot, which looks really slow. But this is some more interesting things to look at. This actually has sound. I wonder if you can change that camera so that the camera stays behind you. So it looks like it would be quite annoying if the camera always pans out like that when you use your special shots. I'm not sure if there's actually a delay before you take the shot or if it's only done like that because it's part of their video presentation. The simulation line's just gone like up there. That's okay. That made sense, I guess. But I thought it's interesting that these are speed characters, because normally you'd expect like Mario and Luigi will be the all-around characters, but not in this game. Power characters, Bowser and Donkey Kong, you'd always expect to see those, and then these two new ones, Charging Chuck and King Bobomb. May as well check out these special shots as well. Bowser's outfit looks really cool. It still just looks like really slow when you see how these shots work. But you must be able to use those like faster in the actual game, because it feels like the kind of thing you'll need to do quickly when you're playing against other people. Like switch to a power shot and just get it, like take it as quickly as possible, because the other characters will be moving around, so you'll want to try and get your shot off when you know that you're going to hit the other players. The King Bobomb one definitely looks pretty good. And there are control characters, which I guess makes sense. Although I am curious how the different categories like really make sense. If you're playing like speed golf, surely you just want to pick the speed characters, because they'll move faster, presumably. Or maybe they won't. And the spin characters. Didn't really expect Bowser Jr. to be a spin character, but that's cool actually with the clown car. Wow, that shot looked like it had a really large area of effect. This definitely looks fun. I can imagine, like, trying to knock other players' balls into the water or something. And then we have the all-round characters, and there's Wario and Waluigi and Rosalina, but I would definitely not have expected Wario and Waluigi to be all-round characters. Like, Wario is usually a power character. Waluigi maybe, but okay, so you get a big lightning cloud with Wario, which is definitely looks fun. That looked really weird. Like Waluigi's shot just went straight like across the floor almost, and then went up in the air. Rosalina looked very similar to like the previous ones. I think it was the control ones, like very large area of effect. Anyway, there's a few more pages on here. I guess this is the motion controls. Still unclear about whether you need the joystick when you use motion controls, because my Joy-Cons are literally unusable because of the drift. But I would really like to use the motion controls if it's possible. At least to try it out. There's a few screenshots scrolling by. This is a image of the clubhouse, I guess. Not quite the right word, but the area you'll be around in story mode. Some more screenshots. Curious what this one is with Wario and Waluigi. I wonder if they have like doubles matches in this game. So here, there's something that is also good to know. There's 2 stars next to the power for each of these characters, which means that you can upgrade the pre-existing characters. So as well as upgrading your Mii as you go in story mode, I guess you'll either unlock upgrades for each other character, or you'll be able to apply those upgrades by giving them better clubs and things that you've collected in story mode, presumably. movie. Is this just blank page? I think this page just had the trailers on it, but it appears to not be working, so that's fine. Anyway, this has gone on for quite a long time. I was hoping to just, watch the video and get it over with within like 20 minutes. And I'm going on for almost an hour now. So anyway, this was my more in-depth than I wanted it to be look at the new trailer for Super Rush, and also looking at the Japanese website, just looking to learn some new things about the game that we haven't seen previously. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to when this game comes out. I will be playing it as soon as it releases. Still not sure whether there's going to be a demo or whether I'll play the demo, because I kind of want to wait for the full game. But either way, I will be playing the full game a lot as soon as it comes out. Anyway, for now, thanks for watching, and I will probably be back when yet more information comes out about this game, with another video talking far too much about Mario Golf.